Hi everybody, welcome. My name is Carl Chambers. I'm the founder of Human Value Initiative, where we work with you to experience your best selves. Today we are talking about a topic from our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion series. It's a very exciting topic, one that everyone can relate to, but I know that this hour will add value to you. So without further ado, let's jump into today's module on stereotypes and bias in the workplace. You ready? Let's get started. So the 4 key points that we'll cover today are stereotypes, bias, unconscious bias, also known as implicit bias, and rules to live and work by. So stereotypes. Stereotypes is the belief that all people of a certain race, ethnicity, gender, or cultural group are all the same, or they all behave in the same way. The Oxford definition states that it's a widely held but fixed, oversimplified image. Think about stereotypes. We have all used stereotypes. When you say, you always do this, or you always do something, or you never do it right. We're all guilty. I can think of an example as an HR professional working for an organization that was based in Las Vegas, had recently opened a property in St. Louis, Missouri. And they ingrained in us what to look for in those candidates, not just during the interview, but the appearance, because this was a hospitality company. And so everyone had to be clean cut, well groomed. And if you were not allowed to make it through your orientation. I remember a gentleman specifically that had came through, had a excellent resume, credentials as a cook. And he interviewed and was hired as the head cook. But he did not make it through orientation because the vice president, general manager, spoke with every group that came through orientation. And this gentleman had dreadlocks. And because he had the dreadlocks, there was a concern that his hair would not stay up. And so he did not make it through. He had to demonstrate that he could keep his hair up. You're talking about an 8-hour shift. So that situation ended up in the courts. So although we're talking about stereotypes and biases, we're talking about stereotypes and biases in the workplace and how it can impact your organization, your employer of choice. So let's take a look at a video of a stereotype in the workplace and what transpired.
Janet and Bill were working on a sales presentation for their team. During their time together, Janet showed Bill the figures she came up with. On the spreadsheet, profits had gone down since last year. By accident, she said, "Look, Bill, this is great. Profits have gone up." Bill looked at the sheet and replied, "Actually, Janet, profits have gone down. This isn't good." Then he said, "When John was here, he always got the numbers right. Men seem to always be better with math." Janet was offended by his comment, and she said, "Bill, what you just said was very sexist. I made a common error that anyone could have made. I accidentally inverted the numbers." Bill quickly realized that what he said was wrong and apologized to Janet. Janet accepted his apology, and they finished the presentation for the next day.
Think about what Bill stated to Janet. That John, when he was here, he always got the numbers right. Always? Now, we don't know how long Bill worked with John. But we do know Janet is just starting. Now, how many of you always got the numbers right, or always got the pottery right when you first started? Human resources, our onboarding is anywhere from 6 months to 18 months. So, I'm not saying that John wasn't a great employee or co-worker, but always, Bill may not have worked with John, so he may have really thought highly of John. John may have mentored Bill. But there was a time when John was not always getting the numbers right. So Janet was assertive. She was firm but fair. And because she was firm but fair, they were able to have communications farther, despite the fact that what Bill said was a borderline or completely misogynistic comment. Janet used the word sexist. So think about your workplace. And have you generalized or made such a comment or a statement to a coworker? And how did that impact that coworker? We want to realize that your organization has invested in you, your employer of choice. They have an obligation to you that you are to, first of all, feel safe in the workplace. Second of all, that you're able to have a comfortable environment to do your job and to excel so that you're able to zone in without distraction or wisecracks. You know, I remember a commercial, a Nike commercial, since we're in Oregon. And so some of you will remember the Michael Jordan commercial with Gatorade. But I remember the Nike commercial with Emmitt Smith. And Emmitt Smith, after a tough, hard-fought game, they would ask Emmitt, "Mr. Smith, what is it going to take?" And Emmitt would just kind of look up. And he'd say, "It's going to take everything that you've got." And then the Nike swoosh would come across the screen. You can't give everything that you've got to your passion if you're being distracted. And it could lead to real trouble for your organization. Just think about had this conversation not went in the direction that it did. I know we can what up this all day, but just for a second, think about if Janet reported that statement and there was an investigation from Human Resources. So the purpose of talking about stereotypes and biases is to make sure that we empower you, that you have awareness about the matter, and that we do it proactively and preemptively. Look, I'm not walking on water here. It's not my intention to do that. We all stereotype. We all have. But we do want to make sure that we honor our coworkers and we honor our employer. So I'm thinking about that. I'm going to have you all to do breakout session 1. And you have your participant guides. You'll have an opportunity to go over these questions. Okay? What could Bill have done differently when he pointed out Janet's error? Okay? Do you believe Janet was justified in her response to Bill? Think of a time when you operated based on a stereotype. How did that affect you? What can you do today to change your perspective on your coworkers who may look or think differently from how you do? So, again, we'll put you in breakout sessions. You'll have an opportunity to work on that together. We'll give you 3 minutes. And we'll have a designated speaker from each group to kind of share what the responses were. Okay, and I can't wait to hear from you. Thank you. This completes our vignette.